Let's talk about REN. I got the shirt. I recommend it in my portfolio allocation for crypto. I'm optimistic, but I'm also nervous. REN could go a lot higher. It could also struggle here and eventually go down if things don't work out. This is a high risk investment that you need to keep your eye on. And, you know, it's not at 4 cents today. It's at 30 plus cents. So I want to talk about the issues as I see them. And although I'm very nervous about all aspects of REN, for those of you who know me, it's like, or have been watching my videos, you should always have uncertainty and doubt in your investments. And so, for you REN followers who love REN, don't cry when you hear me say there's all these possible problems. Instead, address them head on to prevent them. Okay? Let's not be babies. Okay, so I want to talk about 3 things. One is, what is the product market fit? We've seen Bitcoin come to Ethereum on REN. We're going to see in product market fit, huge volume right out of the gate. But REN wants to expand to being interoperable with other chains and other tokens. And I can agree in the long run, 10 years, 20 years, yeah. But today, I think we're wasting our time. I want to talk about that. I also am going to talk about how we need more node operators. The key to decentralization is a diverse group of node operators around the world making profits. And I think we need to do more there. I want to talk about it. And then we'll talk about decentralization and why it's important, why it is key for REN, why, although we don't need to be decentralized immediately today, and we're not, but what's the roadmap and are we going to get there? There are risks. So first of all, in a matter of months, there's been $1 billion in transactions of Bitcoin moving to and from REN, and there's $300 million of Bitcoin locked on REN in months. Why is this possible? Why is this working? Well, it's kind of obvious if you look at it. There's $200 billion plus of Bitcoin sitting there that can't do anything. That's a huge market of crypto people with a significant amount of value they can't do anything with. So you open up the door to Ethereum, 1% of Bitcoin coming over, that's 200 million. It's just 1%, right? So that's that. And we see that it's working, and it makes sense that it works. And but I think the mistake everybody's making is that, well, let's open up to other coins and we'll have that success. You won't. It doesn't make any sense. People are excited. Whoa, Dogecoin is now available. REN works with Dogecoin. Now you can get Dogecoin on Ethereum. Well, if 100% of Dogecoin moved to Ethereum on REN, it would probably would not even equal the amount of Bitcoin that has moved already. And there's no use case. Dogecoin, for those who don't know, was created as a joke. The creator guy, cool guy, Jackson Palmer, he created it. It was a joke. It was funny, whatever. And then he walked away from it. It's not a real thing. Why are we wasting our time? I understand, too. Long has talked about you want to have some other tokens so they make sure the system works. But they did that with BCH shitcoin. We got that. We have Zcash. Okay, now you have Dogecoin. We're getting beyond experimenting now. Now we're just wasting our time. Okay? Now, and then people talk about, polkadot, and Cosmos. These chains may be awesome. And maybe in the next bubble, in the next rally, these platforms will have something going on. Maybe not. Maybe the next chain is everybody moving to layer 2 on Ethereum, right? Maybe these other ones won't even happen. I don't know, but what I do know is there's nothing happening now. To have Polkadot available on Ethereum, nobody cares. Why would you? Or even theoretically having Bitcoin on Polkadot or on Cosmos or wherever the hell they're working on, there could be some value, but there's no activity now on those chains. Again, even if it sort of works, like, do the math. When you're looking at another chain, even let's take Binance, right? Now, Binance has some volume. It's a real chain. It's up and running. Imagine we could get BNB on Ethereum. Okay. Well, BNB market cap's like 4 billion, right? No. I think it's only 2 billion. Whatever it is. Do the math. How much BNB can you move over and compare that to what percent of Bitcoin you need to move over for it to equal? It's just not even a ball game. Doesn't even matter. Plus, it's a different market. Binance people have things to do. They're not like Bitcoiners who have nothing to do. People on Binance, they're moving money around. There's lots of games to play, gambling and investing and yield earning. And they're probably on Ethereum already anyways. It's just all of these other tokens. I'm telling you, here's my prediction. Mark my words. For those of you who are crying, mark my words. A year from now, we will look back and think we wasted our time on all that shit because 97% of all volume through REN a year from now will be Bitcoin. Okay? So let's just double down on it, triple down on it. Enough with all these shit coins and ghost chains. So, and again, I don't believe necessarily, I'm not saying that Ethereum and Bitcoin are the only two assets in the world. But in this rally that we're in right now, that is all there is. Okay? Next, node operators. The key to REN being decentralized is that we have these node operators earning profits, independent people earning profits. You can think of it like Bitcoin needs a bunch of miners, right? Well, each miner is earning profits, and that's why they stay in business, and they have a stake in the system, and that's how the network is secured. So you can think of node operators as miners, but instead of solving stupid puzzles, they're processing transactions of moving Bitcoin to and from Ethereum. And that profitability has to be high enough to incentivize those node operators. And, I posted this on the REN forum, and people are like, well, what could we possibly do to get more node operators? I'm like, well, I think there's a lot of things you could do, or we could do, One thing is making it easier to sign up. I understand, and listen, some of my ideas might be harder than others and have more fruit than others, but I'll just throw some ideas out there, right? One is making it easy to be a node operator. You have to know some level of programming. They've made it pretty simple already. If you're a developer, it's easy. But I don't know. Let's make it easy enough so that if you don't have to be a developer, right? I mean, Ethereum's trying to make it so that staking can just be a regular person on their laptop, and it doesn't have to be connected all the time. Let's make it as easy as possible. Work on that. So just average people, you don't have to be a developer. That opens the market to investors. Somebody like me, I can't run a node because I don't know the fuck. I'm pretty smart. I can put in a little bit of time, but I can't run a node. I don't know. Make it easy enough for me. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing. The next is tracking. So if I'm a node operator or whoever is out there, there are however many, whatever it is, I think like 1,500 node operators. Well, you've got to track your earnings. You're earning income in RENbtc, right? Which then what do you do with that? Are you saving it? Are you earning yield on it? Or are you selling it off? And how do you track your profits? Because you're earning profits in BTC, which is not dollars, right? Do you sell it? And the other thing that's so tricky is the node operators earn income, but if REN does, X amount of transactions in a month, they don't send all of it to the node operators at the end of the month, only like half of it. And then the next month, they get like the next half of that half. And honestly, I can't, people have explained it to me a few times. I still don't remember it. And I don't even know exactly. And it's written down somewhere. Like, you have to be a genius to know how much you're earning in this BTC. And then you're earning in RENbtc. What do you do with that? How do you track your profits? How do you, these node operators are business operators. This is not a normal business, right? So how do you track your numbers? What are the numbers? And even looking at, even as a non-node operator, what is the dividend earning on REN? On REN nodes? I can't figure it out. Like I find, every video I've done, I do it in front of my computer in the past on REN. And I show the numbers, and every month I've done it, I found there's something wrong, and then I fixed it, and the next video was a little better, but there was something else wrong in the next video. And then finally, someone explained to me an easy way to track it, which was just look at how much volume there is over a period of time, and the fee is 0.1%, and so just take 0.1%. But now they changed the fees. It's 0.2% for minting and 0.1% for burning. So now how do you track what the dividend is, not including the amounts that they hold back that they pay out to the node operators? Bottom line is, if you want to run this like a real business and run your numbers, you better be pretty freaking smart. I'm pretty good with numbers, and I love spreadsheets, and I've been trying to figure this shit out for months, and I still can't figure out what the dividend is for a REN node. And again, I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy, the sharpest tool in all the sheds, but let's make it easier. What else? Yeah, I guess that's my points there on making it easier for node operators. Now, the other thing is, let's talk about decentralization. And this is a point that a lot of people, when it comes to decentralization, it's like, this is a rabbit hole of basically a lot of people don't even know what decentralization is or even why it's important. Let me just put it this way. When it comes to bringing BTC to Ethereum, there is a centralized version, WBTC. So people, they take their Bitcoin, they give it to this organization where they store it at BitGo, and they store it, and I trust this organization because of all the people involved and from what I've read, and it sounds like they're doing a decent job locking it up, right? And then you get your WBTC. Great, so that's a centralized version, and it's much bigger than REN. So if we want to be a centralized system for logging up BTC, we're not the leader. REN's not the leader. And I don't know how you beat WBTC. Because also, if you're a bank or you are someone who's, listen, if you're an individual and you want to move some BTC, you do whatever you want to do. But if you're a bigger organization and big money, you better do something that is trusted. So you look at WBTC, oh, I get it, it's here, they put it here, I can trust that. RENbtc, even if it's totally fine, it's like, well, what's REN's system? Oh, well, it's supposed to be decentralized, but it's not, and we got these nodes, and there's the gray core, and then it's no big money is going to invest in REN as a centralized system. Trying to be decentralized is some convoluted thing that no one can understand. So if REN's going to be centralized, forget about it, right? But that's not the plan. I think everybody's on board with the idea that we will become decentralized, but I think people are a little chill about it and a little bit like, yeah, we'll get there, whatever. Now, I totally agree, too, with this. There was, I think, Long wrote a paper about sometimes you can't be decentralized right from the beginning, and it can be a long, slow process. I get all that. I agree with all that. But what is the roadmap? So we need to become decentralized and just sort of become unclear on how the heck we get there. Because, first of all, the key to being decentralized, like I said, is all these node operators and the value of all the nodes. Well, first of all, what I originally read was that the value of the nodes needs to be 3 times higher than the value of the tokens they're holding. So that would mean, so there's 300 million of Bitcoin on REN, That would mean all the nodes, the node market cap would have to be 900 million, right? And what is it today? It's like, wait, what is it today? Oh, just the nodes is like 40 million. So it's way undercapitalized. But then there's all this, when you really get into it, they don't need 3 times. Even 2 times is enough. But still, that's a 600 million market cap instead of 40 million. But what is it? How much do we need? Long also mentioned in a comment, well, it's something about, so here's my analogy is, they say, well, Bitcoin can be attacked if more than 50% of the node operators have control. But in reality, you need more than 50%, right? Because it's hard to do, and it's sort of expensive to actually attack, and it's risky, and there's all these issues. And so if mathematically it's possible to attack Bitcoin with 51%, you might actually need 70%. I don't know. But I think with REN, there's a similar thing where we have what is mathematically possible to steal something. And I think instead what we should focus on is what is actually realistic that somebody could have a successful attack, or what is the risk. So it's sort of unclear to me of what our goal is with the numbers. But clearly, no matter what the goal is, the value of the nodes needs to go higher, okay? So one thing that was done recently is increase the fees on minting new Bitcoin onto Ethereum from 0.1% to 0.2%. Okay, that's cool. I get that, and we'll see what happens. There's also this thing called the continuous fee, which I wonder, on one hand, I sort of understand why we'd want to sort of delay getting to that, because it's like you want a lot of people using, it's sort of the, we saw this on the internet, or we still see it, the freemium model, give something away for free, get a lot of volume, and then increase the prices, or then figure out a way to make money. And, so I get that with REN. I think if I saw the number of node operators growing rapidly, because it is paying a decent dividend already, even if the security numbers were upside down, but I was seeing lots of nodes signing up, I think I'd be cool with that. To me, what REN should be focusing on is 100% Bitcoin on Ethereum. That's the only product we care about right now, and getting more and more node operators up and running. And you tell all the node operators, hey, one of the not only can you make money on dividends, and here's how you compute the dividends, but someday we're going to increase prices. You're going to make even more money. You're going to get rich as a REN node operator and get a bunch of node operators. I'd be fine with that. We increase prices later. But again, it just doesn't seem clear to me. And what is our roadmap? How many node operators do we want? I'd like to see 5,000. I don't know. Is that too many? Should we have more? It's just the roadmap, not only on the timing of the roadmap, but what is the roadmap to decentralization? It's not that clear to me. And I think, again, Long Wang, co-founder of REN, talks a lot. He's very involved in the community. Super smart guy. He may have it all in his head, and he's got it. And believe me, there's many times I've seen companies, businesses, projects, whatever, where I'm like, what are they doing? I don't think it's going to work. And guess what? It did work. They were smart. They knew what they were doing. I'm not smarter than Long, and maybe he's got it in his head. But if he does have it all in his head, I think he needs to work with somebody who can communicate this clearer. It's very he comes off as he's a developer guy, like he's a tech guy, and I think REN's business model depends on the business owner. And REN is not speaking in business owner language. It's very technical. And and so the roadmap, there might be a clear roadmap, in technical jargon or something. I don't know. And also, a lot of times, too, I ask questions, and it's out there. It's like, you go to Telegram, and then you do a search, and you find a conversation from 2 months ago that kind of answers your question. Okay. Or there was a blog post from 3 months ago that answered. But when it comes to roadmap to decentralization, we should have a clear like just in one place where you go for the roadmap. So, yeah, just a little worried about that. What else do we got here? I think that might be it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so listen. Let me know your thoughts. I'm watching closely. As far as valuation, to me, the key is watching the volume, right? Obviously. And at today's volume, that we've been seeing over the last few days, it's sort of, it peaked, whatever it was, beginning of September. And around then, the price of REN peaked around 55. Then it plummeted to like 17 cents as the volume was plummeting. Volume's sort of come back and has been flat, and the price of REN has been flat around 30 to 35 cents. And although for the life of me I can't really compute the dividend, it looks like it's a decent. It looks like 5% or more. It looks like a decent dividend. So I think REN is pretty fairly valued here at 30 cents at the current rate. If you see volume shooting up, I think the price will shoot up. If volume falls down, I think the price of REN will fall down. And I think we've got a runway of time here, to figure some of these things out. So at this point, it's mostly just watching the volume. I have no idea how to predict whether the volume of Bitcoin moving to Ethereum on REN will go back to what it was in August, huge volume, or if it's going to stay here, or if it's going to sort of slow down for a while. I have no idea. And so again, that's your risk in holding this token, right? I mean, and even if you love REN, 5 years, and you think all this stuff is going to work out, if volume happens to go through a lull for 3 months, the token could be down for a few months, So you need to be prepared for that. And I see a lot of you kids out there, investors, you don't care about risk. You just throw in caution in the wind. REN, it can go to $2. Yeah, it can go to $2 or higher. But it can also go to 20 cents or 2 cents, and quickly. So, you're swimming in the deep end, and some of you need a life jacket. Okay? So, let me know your thoughts, questions, and thanks for watching.